Please video like and subscribe this channel. I never imagined that a simple trip to the Galactic Council's observation hall would alter the course of my life forever. Earth had sent me as an observer, a humble envoy to witness interstellar diplomacy, but as the transport vessel docked on Ilara Prime, I felt an electric tension in the air, as though the very walls of the station were alive with anticipation. The hall was unlike anything I had seen in human architecture. Towering crystalline columns refracted light in every direction, casting prismatic reflections on the polished obsidian floors. Thousands of beings from countless worlds mingled, their forms varying from shimmering energy constructs to towering quadrupeds. I had always believed that humans were creative, but nothing in our history could compare to this spectacle of intergalactic diversity. As I entered, I scanned the room for a place to sit. The seating arrangement was chaotic, a blend of hovering chairs and floating platforms, some designed for beings without physical forms. My stomach tightened, not from hunger, but from the weight of expectation. The council was meeting today, and every observer was required to maintain decorum. "Excuse me," I murmured to a small, gelatinous entity that hovered near an empty chair. It shimmered nervously, then slid aside, allowing me to slip into the space. Relief washed over me. I had finally found my spot. Then, without warning, I felt a hand on my arm. It was soft, yet somehow commanding. I froze. My eyes instinctively lifted, and I saw her tall, regal, and impossibly beautiful. Her skin was a deep violet, studded with faint luminescent patterns that pulsed like distant stars. Her eyes glowed with an inner light, golden flecks dancing in the irises as if entire galaxies were trapped within them. Around her shoulders flowed a robe that seemed woven from liquid starlight, shimmering and shifting with her movements. "Sit here with me," she said, her voice melodic and firm, cutting through the murmurs of the hall like a bell. All around, beings paused. Some stared. Some whispered. But the Queen, she radiated authority and warmth simultaneously. I nodded, though my throat felt dry, and I allowed her to guide me to a floating platform beside her. As I sat, a strange calm settled over me, and I realized with a jolt that I had not even asked her name. "Do you often attend the council?" she asked, her eyes studying me intently. "No. I'm here as an observer," I replied, still unsure if I was speaking aloud or merely thinking. She smiled, a subtle curve of her lips that seemed to bend the light around her. "Then you are brave, or perhaps foolish. Few humans venture into the council without protection." I chuckled nervously. "I suppose that makes me both." Her gaze lingered on me longer than was comfortable, yet oddly reassuring. "Perhaps. But bravery, even in foolishness, is something I respect." I wanted to say more, to ask why the Queen herself had chosen to speak with me, yet the hall erupted in activity as the session began. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing complex interstellar charts, treaties, and star maps. Representatives from thousands of worlds presented their cases, each discussion layered with subtle political maneuvers that I could barely begin to understand. And through it all, the Queen remained a constant presence beside me, her calm aura a shield against the overwhelming flood of information. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time seemed to bend in the observation hall. I found myself leaning closer, drawn to the gentle cadence of her speech when she occasionally explained the proceedings to me in quiet tones. Her insight was profound, revealing layers of diplomacy and strategy that no report or document could convey. I began to see the galaxy through her eyes, a complex, living entity, fragile yet resilient, teetering on the edge of chaos and order. At one point, she shifted, her hand brushing mine, not intentionally. I hoped, and I felt a strange warmth spread through me. My heart raced, betraying a nervousness I had never known existed. The Queen noticed, of course, and the faintest smile tugged at the corners of her lips. "Humans are fascinating," she said softly, almost as if she were talking to herself. Your species perceives linear time, yet often acts as if it is eternal. Your fears are sharp, your desires blunt, but your courage, that is rare. I swallowed, unsure how to respond. I've always believed that observation is the first step toward understanding, I managed to say. She regarded me silently for a moment, then nodded. Wise words. Few truly understand that. Observation without judgment, it is a skill many of my kind have lost. Before I could inquire further, a sudden commotion broke out across the hall. A representative from the Tsarine Collective had accused the Andori Republic of violating the Treaty of Luminous Worlds, and the argument escalated into an audible confrontation. Tensions flared, and the room grew electric with potential conflict. The Queen stood abruptly, her robe cascading around her like liquid night. Calm the hall, she commanded, and the energy shifted immediately. Beings turned, attention snapping toward her. Her presence alone quelled the dissent, the arguments fading into murmurs. She sat again, motioning for me to remain seated. That, she said, her voice lower now, almost intimate, is the difference between fear and respect. Do you see it? I nodded. Yes, it's incredible. She studied me, and for a moment, I could have sworn she was peering into the deepest recesses of my mind. You will see much more tonight. But beware, human, seeing is one thing. Understanding is another. The rest of the session passed in a blur of protocol, negotiations, and interstellar intrigue. And yet, as the council adjourned, the Queen beckoned me to follow her. She led me to a secluded balcony overlooking the city of Ilara Prime. Below, glowing spires pierced the clouds, and rivers of luminescent energy snaked through the metropolis. Do you like it? She asked. It's breathtaking, I admitted, the view rendering me speechless. She smiled again, and this time there was no formality, only genuine warmth. This is my home, my responsibility, my burden. And yet, it is beautiful. Much like life itself, wouldn't you say? I nodded, feeling an uncharacteristic vulnerability. Yes, beautiful and fragile. For a long moment, we simply stood there, gazing at the city. Then, without warning, she turned to me. You are different from the others, human. There is something in your heart, courage, yes, but also honesty. Few in this galaxy possess both. My chest tightened. I don't know what to say. Then say nothing, she replied. Actions speak louder than words, and tonight, your actions will matter more than you can imagine. Before I could ask what she meant, she pressed a small, crystalline device into my hand. It shimmered with a faint blue light. This is a key, she said. It will allow you to access places and knowledge not meant for ordinary humans. Use it wisely. I stared at the device, then back at her. Why me? Because you were willing to sit next to me, she said simply. That simple choice, it changed everything. The words hung in the air like stars frozen in time. I realized then that the Queen's invitation had not been a mere courtesy, it was a test, a choice that revealed character in the smallest of actions. And somehow, by sitting beside her, I had passed. The night stretched on. She showed me hidden chambers, archives containing knowledge of civilizations long extinct, and weapons capable of shaping galaxies. Each revelation challenged my understanding of reality and humanity's place in the cosmos. I was awed, terrified, and exhilarated all at once. Finally, she led me back to the observation hall, now empty and silent. Tomorrow, the council reconvenes, she said. And you, human, will have a role far greater than observation. I felt the weight of her words settle on my shoulders. I'll do my best, I whispered. You already have, she replied. And then, for the first time, she reached out and placed her hand over mine. Remember, the galaxy is vast, and time is fleeting. Sit where you are meant to, and let the universe notice. As she released my hand and disappeared into the shadows of the hall, I realized that nothing would ever be the same. A simple invitation, "Sit here with me," had thrown me into a world of wonder, danger, and responsibility beyond imagination. And somehow, I knew that this was only the beginning. When I finally returned to my quarters on Ilara Prime, I placed the crystalline key on my desk and stared at it, heart pounding. The city lights outside glimmered like distant stars, and I understood something fundamental. Sometimes, the smallest decisions, accepting a hand, taking a seat, following a voice, could change the trajectory of an entire life, even the fate of entire worlds. And I, a humble human observer, had been chosen. The Queen's words echoed in my mind long after the night ended: "Sit where you are meant to, and let the universe notice." That night, I slept for the first time in weeks, not because I was tired, but because I had glimpsed the infinite and I had been invited to take my place within it.